Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, May the 15th. This is our makeup class from yesterday. I'm so sorry, but it's all good. Markets are still here. We didn't miss a thing. But you guys know I'm Fatima. I am your master for micro ES, mini futures, or, micro ES, or whatever it is. If it's ES, SPX, I am your girl. So whether you're making a switch from SPX500 CFDs or just refining your edge, you are in the perfect place to grow. So each week I'm going to guide you through the market structure, trade setups, risk strategies, and insider insights to help build your confidence and consistency in the market. So no matter your experience level, my mission is to help you guys trade the MES with clarity, purpose, and precision. Alrighty, so let's take our trading to the next level together. You guys, please like, subscribe, hit that like button, tap that bell, never miss a session. It's gonna help our unlock some features in our uh, YouTube channel. Okay, let me share the screen. Good morning, Ty. Alrighty, do you guys have your charts up? Are you guys ready to do what we do? Hey, what's up, Courtney? That cute little baby. All right, guys. So we're just going to get into it. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about back testing and how we can back test on TradingView. So we're going to go through, you guys know the drill. We're going to go through our news, make sure we have all the insight that we need before we hop into the markets. We'll go into our top-down analysis to set us up for the week, and then we'll back test and learn how, we can go and test our strategy and test times and see, what has the market done in the past and how that can be beneficial in our trading future, future trading. All right, guys, bear with me. I'm still a little tired. I was up really late last night doing this project. Got a lot going on lately. Oh, but I'm back. I'm back and I'm here. So you guys get me together. Good morning, Charlotte. Okay, so first thing, visual of S&P 500. So what does this tell you, you guys? If you guys are just looking at this, if you just had just a broad overview, you just wanted a broad overview, what is Finviz telling us about ES? Good morning, Ethan. You guys use the chat. What is this telling us? If we just wanted to look at all the different sectors, so the S&P 500, there's 500 stocks that make up this index. Technology sectors, these are our Microsoft, our Apple, Nvidia, financial. These are our banks, healthcare. But overall, what is this looking to you? Up or down? Majority of this heat map is red. So that's telling us that, well, of course, the market hasn't opened yet, the New York session, but this is letting us know that, market's looking a little red. We might be selling today, down. There we go. So we put that in the back of our mind, even if we have, a little bit of retracement. And of course, we check this periodically throughout the day. This is our one-day performance. So, we take that with a grain of salt. Alrighty, so we have that information. Let's go ahead and take a look at what EconoDay is telling us. So let's see. We have jobless claims coming out at 8:30. Consensus. All right, and I love that it tells us all of that information. So we have some retail sales coming out as well. Jerome Powell's going to speak at 8:40. So, we're just going to really just be sitting back. That's why I picked this day to really just focus on back testing, because we have a lot going on. We're going to let the market just do its thing. We don't want to be in the market, at that time, unless if you're just going in for quick scalps, which is fine. I'll just say be careful. Let it settle down, let the market open. We'll have our game plan for the day, and we can get in and out of trades. Alrighty, so Nice eventful day. Core PPI, core sale, core retail sales, unemployment claims. It's about to get crazy. Alrighty. So, are you guys dropping the chat? What have you guys been trading lately? Are we still trading Forex? I see Micah had he's incorporating pivots now. I know that's going to take him to a next level. Just helps to give some insight into some target points and help you to find those reversal zones so you can, those potential reversal zones so you can grab your profits, get out of the market, do what you got to do. GJ is doing good still. Anyone still trading? Let us know. Okay. All right, Bloomberg. What do we have in store? Alrighty. So Donald Trump says the U.S. is close to a deal with Iran and maybe also India. Lawmakers' proposed tax cuts are going to come at a cost. And read on for a list. Oh, the best books of the summer. Oh, okay. Let me not get sidetracked. Love a good book. Okay, so and as we can see, market snapshot. This does come out, at 6:40 Eastern. But as we can see, S&P futures down, Nasdaq down, the Bloomberg Dollar Spot Index, which is equivalent, like when we look at the DXY, gold and US 30. You know what? I had a little bit, like a little small little account still in my. What is that? That's not Hugo's Way. It's KOT Forex. And I saw that big nice sell in gold last week. I took a little something because gold has been making its moves, baby. Alrighty. So just quick little snapshots. Donald Trump still in the Middle East, but trade is top of mind. He said that India offered us a good deal where basically they are willing to literally charge us no tariff. There was no further detail. Of course. And he also told CEO Tim Cook to stop building plants in India. That is where Apple's upping production to shift away from China. All right, the U.S. may also be getting closer to an agreement with Iran. Alrighty, a Ukraine-Russia breakthrough looks less certain as Vladimir Putin opted to send only low-level officials to peace talks in Turkey today. Alrighty, so the chance of a recession in the U.S. now stands at about 45%, according to Steve Cohen. Alrighty, so the founder of Point 72 Asset Management said that there's significant slowing growth, but he doesn't expect the Federal Reserve to lower rates right away because of the concern about tariff-induced inflation. So remember, all these talks that are coming out, Jerome Powell's going to speak. You guys either have it in the background, stay off the markets, but anything that's said can either push this baby up. Right now we have market sentiment selling. Who knows what Powell's going to say to give us, the investors, long-term investors, some hope. We might get a pop and a buy. So we got to really, really, that's why I like to just go over what's going on and what they're going to be talking about, today in the markets, because those pops and those little that headline driven news we could be in a sell. And I was in a sell yesterday, actually. And with ES, what time? In the afternoon. So I usually don't like to trade in the afternoon, but it was just trending. So I got in that sell and something happened and that baby popped up an extra 10 points, brought me back. I didn't close out the trade. I didn't lose the trade or anything, but it was just like I was a couple $100 in profit, popped right back up to beyond my entry point. I'm like, dang. But then it eventually went back down. But it was just like, if I would have had that, and then I went to go and look, someone said something, but if I would have had that news playing in the background, I would have heard someone is saying something crazy, or, I say crazy, but it is what it is. And that's what caused that pop. As soon as I would have heard that, I would have gotten out that trade, locked in my profits, and just waited, for a re-entry back to the sell side, because eventually that is what happened. Alrighty, so United Healthcare is under criminal investigation for possible Medicare fraud. The Wall Street Journal reported. Oh my goodness. Don't even get me started with these insurance companies. That's a whole. Anyways, the company said the Department of Justice hasn't notified it about the reported investigation. Regardless, it's not a good look after the insurance unexpectedly replaced the CEO and its suspended earnings guidance. Ooh, so it's going down. All right, guys. Let's hop on these markets. Okay. Are you guys ready? Who has used the replay bar? If you've used the replay bar in the past in trading view, throw some, let's see, what's a really, really weird number so I can get everyone to be active. Drop the number 166 in the chat. 166. Who's paying attention? Are you with me? If you've ever used the replay bar or seen someone use the replay bar, oh, Charlotte, she's on it. Yes, pivot. Okay, y'all are with me. I told y'all it's like when we're not in Zoom, you guys can't come off of mute. I feel like I'm talking to myself the whole time. So, all right, cool. Oh. Alrighty, so replay bar, let's just go. Let me just drop this link in the chat in case you guys want to. This is directly from, TradingView. It's just one of their articles, more information about the replay bar. Copy. I have like all these screens, a laptop, everything over here. I'm like trying to get it together. Alrighty, here is our article. Okay, so you guys can watch the video. It's a really short video. It's only 18 minutes. We're not going to watch YouTube within YouTube. So I'm not going to do that. But so a bunch of different features. So why do traders need the bar replay? So historical trading starts at a selected point with a controlled replay speed that allows traders to see how a strategy could play out. But the replay bar just isn't about exploring the past. It can help traders think ahead for the future. So we're going to go and, after we do like our setup for the day, we put a little trade in, we're going to go and look to see how the market responds to our pivot levels and our RSI, and we'll talk it out together. We haven't done that in a while. So a bunch of different features with the replay bar. So first, you're going to navigate your playback. So once we're inside the replay panel, you'll notice the playback settings that function similar to those in like media players. So like that pause, play kind of thing there. We're going to select a starting point, meaning where do we want to start looking at this data in the market? What day, what time? After that, we'll start the playback. What's really cool about this is that we can adjust the speed. So you can go slower, you can go faster. If you're just trying to look at certain things on a longer time frame, slower on whatever you want, whatever needs to be done, we can, adjust the speed. Alrighty, and then you can just monitor your status. Change the starting point, just a bunch of different things. What I do like though is this multiple charts. So we're going to have up the 15-minute, we're going to have up the 1 minute, we're going to have up the 5 minutes so that we can see how, the market, we were looking at all these things all together, what it would tell us. It's going to be so cool. All right. So, and of course, if you're using multiple charts, you got to adjust that. So put all charts, not single charts. Okay. Of course, stop the replay and jump to real time using this button here. So just a quick little, overview here of the bar replay. Okay, and depending on what type of plan you have, it lets you know exactly, how far in the past you can do your replay. Alrighty, so let's get started. All right, but there's a bunch of different information there. All right, let's go ahead and bring up our charts. If you have your charts up and you're ready to get started, throw some fires in that chat. All righty, let's get all sorted out here. Let's see, how does this look on y'all's screen? Is it too small? Let's clean this baby up. It's our relevant information. Let's talk about it real quick. All right. Let me know if you guys need me to zoom in. Do we need our charting steps or our strategy up here? Maybe both? I don't know. Okay. Anyways. All right, sorry guys. I'm obsessing. Okay. Here we go. All righty. So let's talk about, this is the 4-hour time frame. So let's talk about what we've been, this is why we do our top-down analysis and we start at the 4-hour, because this information is so relevant throughout the weeks that we're trading. So even if we didn't have class last week, we still had certain points and zones and things marked up to where we were looking to take our trade. So let's see how it played out. So back in April, we had this support area. Market was selling. We started to have this major area of support here at the 48.98 kind of zone. And the market, sellers were unable to bring it lower than this area. They tried a couple days here. We had a pullback. So if we did like this high to this low here, market did come up here and touch this 50% level, this 50. It pushed back down. But as we can see, zoom in here, price was unable to make a lower low. So it came to the 50, pushed back down, did not make a lower low, kind of touched this support zone. And then what happened? Price started to make a higher high. It broke above this high here, this huge engulfing candle. It was April the 9th. What happened on April the 9th? What news event? Okay, so within our back testing, we can look at certain things like this. I do like on the higher time frames, I used to have 2 charts. So one that I did like all my markups on, that I didn't erase or anything like that. I kept all my markups so that when I was back testing and we saw like these huge candles and I was going through what happened in the market, I would have like, the big news events. Like right now, I would put like a vertical line on my chart, core PPI, at that time frame, so that when I was back testing and we saw those huge jumps, it was like, okay, news event. I don't have to do this that we're doing right now, which is going back to April the 9th and seeing what was going on there. Okay, so FOMC meetings. Okay. Cool. I didn't know. You get what I'm saying? So you guys have to go back and see, even though this was at 2 p.m., FOMC meetings drove that market. So now you can write in your back testing, because certain high impact data releases are not going to affect your pair like it affects, certain things are not going to affect your pair. It might, make GJ move. It might make SPX might just jump a little bit, and NAS might move. It might. So you got to know like how these data releases affect your pair in particular. So like Michigan sentiment moves NAS. It doesn't really do too much that I've been seeing. in the past couple of weeks with SPX, S&P. So, alrighty. So we had a huge news day. This engulfing candle did what? It caused price to make a higher high. So this would have been our indication that we are no longer selling. Price is no longer making lower lows, and instead, price is making higher highs and higher lows. Okay? So then what happened here? What did we do? So price pulled back to the 50%. It was unable to make a lower low, pushed up above here, above this high, made a higher high. Now, this is where we could put out our fib tool. This is also a form of back testing. We're looking back at what happened here, seeing how the market played out. Did it go to our levels that we marked out? How could we, in the future, take a trade like this? All right, so if we did a fib from low to high, because remember, we're now in a buy, we can see that the market came to just touch this 50, just a little wick here on the 4-hour, of course. This could have been a full candle on the hourly time frame, but we're just looking at a higher, more structure here on the hourly. Okay, on the 4-hour. So price came right back down here to the 50, almost touched the 61.8, really feeling this imbalance here from this candle. And then what did the market do? So right here, kind of just made us a little support area. We saw that price touched this, 51.44 kind of zone, kind of did it again here. So we're looking at that as a support area. Market came to a zone. Sellers were unable to move it further a couple different times on multiple days. There's support there. All right. We also had our pivotal zones, and our R8 was up here at this purple box. So this was our intraday area. We had a 4-hour high. We saw that price was unable to break above this area, but once it did, we had a gap here, but once it did, price continued to make higher highs, higher lows. And then we got this push above this high area. So price broke that resistance level. Now we're making higher highs. Look at it here. We finally got our EMA crossings, our short-term EMA and our long-term EMA. We're getting some crosses here. So we finally got, and I know this is really colorful. I'm trying not to have too much on our chart, but I want you to just see, maybe if we just have I just want you to see the EMAs here. So short-term EMA, our 10, our 20, that's our blues are 10 here. Our 20 is this orange line. So we've been having some crosses here while the market was consolidating or ranging and just bouncing back and forth between this level. We had our short-term 10-20 cross here, which confirmed the sell. Then what did price do? We got another confirmation here of our 10-20 cross. On the buy side, price is making higher highs. So that was a good confirmation. As we can see, our RSI is crossing up, buying, making higher highs, higher lows, broke this high here and came right. Well, let's talk about what happened here. This was our R8 level. So our resistance level, our TP zone. We were looking, if you came to the support level, if we could ride it all the way out to this R8, either by taking scalps, but this was our destination. And price came here. What happens when price kind of breaks a zone? We get a break and a retest. So price broke above this level. We retested, and it continued to bounce up. Broke above our high. We had another zone that we marked up because what? There was marked up this zone here because we had this liquidity here. We had a pivotal level shift. So we had a new zone. So we can take this information out now. We just wanted to see that we had these breaks here. We had a zone, price broke above this area. So when, information isn't relevant again, we can just, remove it. I like to keep our support levels though, because 4-hour support, actually, I do want to keep this 4-hour high. Because when we have like a high and it breaks and we're in a downtrend, price break, we had that retest. Sometimes this level is, really strong. Okay, and that zone that we had was just this this gap here, fill this gap. So that was also a zone that we were looking at. Price, we had that pivotal level shift. And then we were talking about our EMA crosses. Some people just use your EMA crosses as a strategy. They're in, at your 10-20 cross once they see, once they would have gotten this confirmation here. And this can be on any time frame, but they stick to it. 4-hour time frame, 1-hour time frame, 15-minute time frame, and just getting in and out with those crosses. You have to have a larger, wider stop loss and be able to take on more risk when you're, just in a trade using your crosses, because look at these wide swings here. You're in this buy, price retraces. Look, it was all the way at 59, 55.95. It pulled all the way back to 54.56. However, if you would have gotten in here, at this cross level, you would have still been in profit, but so those crosses, you have to pick a time frame that's good for your trading personality, your account balance, your trading style, all of that. But anyways, back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Okay, we had this cross here. And then what do we have over here? So this is our short-term EMAs, 10-20. But look at our long-term EMAs, our 200 and our 50. We had a cross as well on May the 1st. So that's another confirmation of our buy, that the market is in this nice buy trend. When our EMAs are nice and spread out, that gives us a good trend, like a good trend confirmation. We came up to this level here. We bounced around a couple of days, consolidating. As we can see, why it was that. This was the R8. And that's why we're going to do our back testing, because our back testing is going to show like what these levels were in the past. So this was our R8. It was also where we had our 800 EMA. That's a strong resistance zone. So sellers were unable to, push price above 57.19, 57.20, that area here. But finally, our EMAs are still crossed. We're still above, all of those zones. We are now at the S0 here. And what did price do? It eventually bounced up. This is our Sunday. We have a little gap here, bounced up and continued. And we made it all the way to the R8. So now we have new levels. Now we have this S0 and this R8 on the 4-hour time frame. Let's go ahead and mark those levels up for support. Let's mark our new support levels here. So however you want to do it, if you want to just put in, just capturing from the S0 to the S1, so the -1 kind of level here. And Courtney, you're really good with pivots. I actually learned a lot from you and Coach. Oh God, I'm having a brain fart. Oh, I loved her. Keisha. Excuse me. So if you see something in here, you want to add something, or if I'm doing something wrong, y'all tap in with Courtney. Courtney's amazing as well. We have Micah. I have a bunch of people here that learned and love to teach and just passing on that knowledge. And so we don't gatekeep. We get where we get in where we got to get in. And we learn from who we have to learn from. Imagine I've been teaching pivots for, this whole year, last year as well. And, you get someone who goes over to Micah, he explains it and then it clicks. And that's what happens. That's why I'm like, go where you have to go. I don't care If I just want you to be successful. I just want us all to win. You know, that's all I want. That's when we're actually going to have fun. That's when I can be like, y'all, come on, let's go over here. Let's meet up. You know, y'all could take off of work. No work. You know, I want us all to just be chilling, having a good time. It's no fun hanging out by yourself, trading by yourself in your house. You're like, where's everybody? Oh, they went to work. So we getting out of that. Alrighty, so we have our support level. We have our R8. We can mark that off as well. It's kind of with a horizontal line. Just gonna say 4 hour. All right, because you know when you're on the lower time frames, you want to be able to remember what's going on the higher time frame so you don't get tunnel vision. So this is a resistance kind of area here. So I'll know when price gets up here, hey, might have a little pullback, or you know, if it shoots through here, that's a good confirmation. I love what I learned. It said, what the market doesn't do is just as important as what it does do. So think about it. Alrighty, so what are we gonna do here? Price is near our R8. We have a nice green engulfing, a nice green candle. It's kind of pushing above this level. But however, we are at our R8. We saw that our RSI is kind of pushing down a little bit, but look, we're getting a little peak here, kind of showing us that we're getting a little push to the upside. What time is it? It's 8:30. Oh, we had that news coming out. That's probably why. Ooh. Anybody in a trade? That baby is pushing. No work, Ty. Yes. Although I did get a offer for a contract, still remote. I'm always working remote, for a contract for this company. So I don't have a problem. It's remote. I might go back for a couple, I think it's a 6 months contract. So I'll add that to my list. But traditional 9 to 5s, yeah, we did it. We did it. We want to get out of it. And we'll still be working because y'all, I'm on the computer all the time. I'm managing trades, you know, I'm doing things like that. So you're still going to be working, but it's just going to be on your time. So 4 hour low. So this is our most recent low on our 4 hour time frame. Before we can put a, fib from this low to this high, I'll just say this low to this high here and confirm that, we need to see price break below this low to confirm that it's no longer making higher highs. Right now, price is still making higher highs. So no pullback, but look at this. If price does decide to pull back, we see we had this gap here. This is also the area that price, we had that resistance and price made a higher high there and broke above this area. So this was kind of our 4 hour high as well, made a new high. Price broke above here. We had a gap. So this 50-61.8 area would be a juicy zone. 57.60 to 57.21. If price does break below this low, this would be our selling zone. Again, 4 hour time frame. So this could take days for this to play out. We just want some levels. Of course, this is a preemptive trade. It hasn't given us the confirmation yet. We're still, making higher highs. Price hasn't broken below this area. We have this nice, huge engulfing candle. We are near the R7, R8. So we'll see how price reacts when it gets up to, these high zones. Let's see. And I'd love to see how this is going to look on, the 1 hour. Alrighty. So how does everyone feel about understanding what happened over the last month, what we're looking for now on the higher time frames, and what's going on currently? How do we feel about the 4 hour? Are we good? Our charting steps, we want to gather at least 3 months of data. We marked our high and our lows. If you use trends or, channels, draw them now. We did our fib. We kind of did a preemptive kind of workup there. And so now we can go over to the 1 hour. How are you guys feeling? Perfect. Alrighty, so 1 hour time frame, you can really see what we saw on the 4 hour time frame, much clearer here. Price still just making higher highs, higher lows. We have a nice cross of, our higher of our long-term EMA crosses, price still above all of that. Why is this so long? Okay, here we go. At our 4 hour high there, we have our 50-61-8 level marked up. Okay, so 1 hour, what's the 1 hour telling us? Still in a buy trend. However, we have a cross here. Remember, we're going to see these pullbacks, these reversals on the lower time frames first, of course, before we see it on the higher time frames. So we're seeing a little cross here. Price has come up to this R8. We're expecting it. That's why I love these pivotal zones, because they give us a heads up. They're like, we could blow past this area, but 9 times out of 10, we're going to take a break, So, and it did just that. It tried. It was unable to. Price finally broke below this level here. As you can see, we had a lot of support. And now what's the market doing? Now we're making lower lows and lower highs. Now we got that cross here. So the 1 hour is telling us that, we may be pulling back a little bit. We got to be careful though, because again, we still have buying momentum. We still have, our green candles. So what could this be? It could just be one of, we were just been consolidating. Finally, it got that push below this level. And then, we kind of might do like a little pullback here before that continuation of that sell down here to this S0 or this 50-61-8 zone, this fib level. So we got selling. We're overall selling momentum. We're seeing that the price is, pushing lower. We have our destination. Right now, price is giving us a buy. Price is buying. Giving us a buy, it is. We have our green candles. We have our momentum here. So we might see price push up a little bit. But once it gets to 59, this 59.20 area, 59.14, your alarms are set, because we got to be careful here. This has been resistance. If it continues to buy, great. We'll most likely have a pivotal level shift so that we can get a new, price point. But let's go to our 15-minute. Let's go. We're having candles that have been giving us sells. This price has been selling since Tuesday. So we'll see. Even I like to put like a little, it's doing something like that, a little fib to see, okay, where is it going to come back to? Okay, it's touching this 50. It might just come back over here. This is also our 786 area. That's also a good area to enter back into your sell. So we'll continue to buy because price is giving us buying momentum. We'll continue to find our buys, but we're just going to be very cautious when we get to these levels because they are potential reversal zones. Very helpful, Ty. Good. Oh, we have to check back in. I meant to text you on Friday. Text me when you get a chance so we could do our weekly check-in. Please. Alrighty, so I'm sorry. What do I want to call this? This is not a zone. This was our 1 hour low where we had a break. We had a break right there. So we'll see, because sometimes price after it breaks comes back, that break and retest that we were talking about. Okay, so that's what we did. Step number 3, identify major areas of support and resistance level on the 1 hour time frame. Add a fib if needed. Boom, we're good. Alrighty, so still looking for buys. We got 18 minutes in this candle. Let's bump it on down to the 15-minute. And now, as far as our charting steps, let me bump this up. Okay, so our charting steps, we're right here. We're zooming into the 15-minute time frame. We're finding minor market structures, so our support and resistance levels according to our pivotal zones. We're going to place our positional tool to map out our trade. Oh, wait. Excuse me. Notate any major psychological price levels. So those nice, big, fat, round, even numbers. So 5,900, 5,800, all of those. And then, again, create vertical lines where high impact news will occur for the week as a reminder to take caution trading during that time. So we're done charting. This is something that honestly you guys can do. I like to do it midweek because sometimes Sunday is a little crazy. I used to do my charting on Sunday. I do like Wednesdays though, because I'm in the middle of the week and it lasts till I come back the next week to do some more charting. Charlotte says the current low on the 1 hour is that a demand zone? Let's see here. Let's go back to the 1 hour. So this low here, it was support. And yeah, price broke below, so it's no longer support. So that's why we're going to see what kind of zone this is. So it's a break. It may be a demand zone where price, continues to push up. It just pulled back a little bit, and price may continue to break above these 4-hour wicks. However, on the 4-hour and the 1 hour time frame, this is resistance area. So we will see if it's going to pull back here. Is that what you were asking, Charlotte? If it's going to pull back to this area. Remember, we had that news. This low? I don't know, y'all. I think we might go back on Zoom, or at least do like one session, at least a month on Zoom, so you guys can talk and ask questions. Woo. Okay. All right. So 15-minute, this is where we're going to map out our trade positions. So, this S0, 5 o'clock. Oh, this area here. Oh, no, you said 1 hour time frame. Oh, okay. So the 5 a.m., this candle, yes, this was a low. This was a support area on the 1 hour. Yes, it was. You can see it pull back. We had this double bottom. We can mark that as support. Good call out. If price breaks below that level, then we know that we are definitely selling here. So let's see if we get one of these kind of, things that we were talking about, just a little pullback. But definitely, if we see price break below this level, what will this be a confirmation of? If this was support on the 1 hour, price was unable to break below, just like this was support here. Price is pulling back. So if price broke below this level, this would be price will be making this was a lower low. And if price breaks below this level, that means it will be making a lower high and a lower low. So that would be a good confirmation of this sell that we're looking to take down to that 50.61.8 level. So it may do something like this. Come back up here, and then what? Break below that level. We don't get things that are clear all the time, those higher highs and higher lows. But if we go and look at the higher time frame, that will be a break, pull back, and a continue of that break to make a lower low. You got it, Charlotte. You got it. Okay, 15-minute. Let's map out our trades. So where should we have gotten? Remember, I told you guys sometimes, and a lot of times, I would say price with these levels in S&P 500. I use the R7 and the S0 a lot. when we get a good trending day and on the lower time frames, like maybe the 3, 5, and the 1 minute time frame, we may see price go up to that R8 and come down to that S0. But I noticed on the 15-minute time frame, this R7 and this S0, those are the levels that ES really responds to. So if we were following our following our strategy, we would have made an alert here, kind of touch that R7 kind of area just a little bit. But this would have been our indication to get in for our sell. So boom, we would have been in. Price just kept selling, tried to come back up. It did not. Buyers were unable to bring that price higher here, and price just continued to sell all the way down, and it did hit this S0. So there were a couple different times, if we were following this strategy, using our pivotal levels, using our market structure, our candlestick patterns to show us what's going on. We were in this buy, but then these crosses, though, another thing with, if you're using your EMA crosses, those crosses come after we would have seen those moves, after we would have gotten that confirmation from our RSI, confirmation from our pivotal levels, confirmation from our candlestick structure, all of that cross is going to come after that. So, eventually you got the cross, but if we would have gotten in a sniper move, we would have been entering from around this level. Boom, huge engulfing candle, May the 13th. Let's see what happened on the 13th. All right, core CPI. Huge engulfing candle here. And so we could have gotten in. How many points would that have been? 24 points. If that was your goal, if you're just getting 20 points out of the market, you're out, you're good. Price came back up to this point again. Overbought, crossing down. We could have grabbed another couple of points here. These are all selling areas. Again, came up to this level. We're not looking for buys, even though, in this instance here at 615, we did get that buying momentum with our RSI. If you were scalping, taking small risk, could have scalped up to, this point. Just in your mind, knowing that I'm going to take this sell. And so we had a little walkie movement here, a lot of wicks, huge wicks to the downside, back to the upside, back to the downside. But if you were just staying in your sell, price would have came back. You might have had a little pullback here. But what did it do? It finally committed to this sell. It made lower lows, came back to this S1 area. That would have been our take profit area if we were looking at our pivotal zones. And then what did it do? This became where we would have taken our buy. So we really need to, so we don't miss these huge entry points, we definitely need to start putting our alerts. As we can see, you don't need to put it exactly at the R7. You can do it a little bit below, a little bit above this S1, because as we know, these are just zones. They're not precise numbers. So not all the time do they hit, does price hit them exactly. Alrighty, so what did price do? Came back up here. What did it do? It touched that low. It did that break, and what did it do? That baby just shot straight back down. It couldn't handle. Just had that break. It wanted to come back over here. This candle tried to pull above, but then look at our 15-minute flat bottom, almost a flat bottom, coming in and just shooting straight down. So it was unable to take price above that level. That's why we mark these things up. Look. Amazing. Amazing. So again, if we're using our pivotal zones, we have to use them in conjunction with the trend. So this was a downtrend. We noticed that the price we had our cross here. We're starting to make that downtrend. Price is making lower lows on higher time frames with higher major structure, right? So we're not really going to expect that when price hits this S0, that it may come back all the way to this R7. It may just come back to this P4 level. That's that middle level. So think about it like this. If you were at the R8 here and you came all the way down here to this S0 level, and you're in a downtrend, how would you continue to, keep making lower lows if you kept coming back up here to this R8? No, you'll just get a pullback to the P4, which I'm pretty sure if we did our fib levels from this high to this low, that's going to be our 50-61-8 level. So just a little pullback to continue on with that selling trend. So take that into consideration when mapping out your trades for your, and there's like that reversal. So not all the time is the price going to come when you have this S0. It's going to just, and you're in that trend and it's pulling back, may not come back, especially on the higher time frames, maybe on the lower time frames, because you're going to get that shift. And the R8 may look like it's, a full pullback, but if you come and you have these areas marked out, you'll see that R8 was really just a P4 on the 15-minute time frame or something similar. Kelly, where's Kelly? Is Kelly here? Have y'all noticed that? Pivotal people. That P4, a lot of times maybe that R8, on the 5-minute, 3-minute, 1-minute. So we're so good. So remember this support level, Charlotte got us right. Confirmation, if price comes below this level, just another confirmation that we are making lower lows and heading down here to this level. Right now, it looks pretty clear. All righty, so we got that going on. I was just gonna put our position tool. Ooh. Whoa. All righty, I was gonna put long position tool just to show up here. You want to give it some room. So it looks about 10 points there. And if you were going to our P4, that's 30 points. Boom, you would have been in profit and closed out. Remember, I'm telling you guys, for our intraday trades, or if you're trying to hold on to a trade, try to take your profit 15 to 20 points in, or move your stop into profit. We have to realize the range of our pairs. We're not going to be trying to grab 150 points holding on to that trade for that amount of time. Right now, on lower time frames and, the 15-minute, 5-minute, for our intraday scalps and things like that, ES is giving us between 15 and 20 points before a pullback. Grab those points, look for another trade. Okay? We're not risking more than 10 points in this market, 15 to 20 points. So you might need to just do a 1-to-1 initially, right? And now once you would have seen, let me zoom in. Okay, if we would have set up this trade, first confirmation, price is near the S0, the S1, excuse me. We also have what? Our RSI oversold, giving us some buying momentum. Then we had this huge engulfing candle. So if we would have gotten in here, once we saw, this candle coming up, if, we would have gotten in this point here, once we saw price kind of giving us that momentum that it was buying and making a higher high. We're at this level. We got this RSI. We would have gotten in right about here, risking our 10 points here. But once we saw price make, let me do my position tool. Once we saw price make a higher high, a higher low, higher high, you can start moving up your stop loss. So now you're in profit. Price kind of pulled back a little bit, but it wouldn't have hit your stop here until it got right up here to that P4. So yes, initially going with 10 points. Why did that move? Okay, so unless you would have went in with 10 points, once you saw price kind of go into your direction, you could have even, moved your stop loss And just now you're only risking 5 points. Once you see price make higher highs and make that structure in your direction, then you move your stop into profit. So you have to be methodical about, how this happens and what you're kind of looking for. And remember, do not try to be precise. Once you saw price kind of coming near this P4, it was 58.98.5. It got to 58.98.25. Once you would have saw that, you're not going to wait and say, oh, it needs to come right up here. You close out your trade, you're out. Because I had someone a couple weeks ago, they were trying to be really, really precise with these levels. And I'm like, these are just zones. Like they were holding a trade. It was so close to take profit. It was just 2 points away. And they let that baby pull back 20 points before they got out of that trade. I mean, mind you, they were in, 100 points in profit. They were holding it. It was one of those big puff days or whatever like that, where we had that nice strong, started trading at like 6 a.m. and was holding that trade, adding on to that trade. But no, it literally, she was saying, oh, it didn't hit my profit point. Girl, it was 3 points away. It did. So we got to be, these levels, we got to take it with a grain of salt. They're not always going to be precise. We're using them as zones and guides, All righty. So what are we doing now? What is the market telling us to do? So we're on the 15-minute time frame. We're near the P4. We have this nice juicy red candle here. We're looking for our sells. So now we're going to see, we can get into if price is going to continue to buy up or it's hit that reversal level, and we're going to get into this sell. 9 a.m. candle is coming out in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Let's look at the lower time frames, see if they have some clues. All right, so the 5-minute, remember we were just saying that sometimes the P4, I love when the market listens to me. The P4, it may be the P4 on the higher time frame, but on the lower time frame, like the 5-minute, it's the R8, the R7. That's our resistance level. So it did just that. It came all the way down here, actually on the 5-minute. Remember, we like to see structure on the higher time frame, but the lower time frames really help us as well to see what's going on. Currently right now, what are the wicks doing in this what are the candles doing in this moment? So it hit this, came, and look, our 5-minute, that wasn't the S1, that was more so our S2. But once we would have saw this 800 EMA, and we knew that the market likes to use this as support or resistance, and we saw that the market had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles that could not push below this level. And then once we would have seen this huge engulfing green candle and this next candle come out green, engulfing all of these previous ones, opening at this level here, 58.71, that would have been a good entry point. We were talking about, on the 15-minute, just setting your, I'm in here. Cool, but we could perfect our entry once we have that zone that we know where we want to get into, what we're looking for. That's when you bring it down to the lower time frame. So we've been back testing without using our replay bar. We'll do that in a second. I just want us to map out this beautiful trade. Okay, so first thing we're doing is we're looking at, we have a low, high, lower low. This is our 5-minute. Kind of have some support here, as we can see. Made a higher high. Higher high, kind of breaking above this level. Higher low. And then price pulled all the way back. What was this time? 730. Pulled all the way back, but not below this area of support. And we finally got that push to this R7, R8 level. Remember, this is our selling zone. So we should have been looking for a trade from up here to sell down to this S1 level now. All righty. So I always like to put on my position tool if you're ever nervous about, okay, how should I get in? What am I doing? place your position to where you should have gotten in. So we should have gotten in up here. Oh, for the sell, sorry. All righty, so we should have gotten in here. Once we saw this kind of candle coming, we were at our R7, could have moved, I say 10 points, but in this level, if you would have given yourself 10 points, you were over, if the market comes up here, that means it's making a higher high. We're no longer in for sells. So you don't want to really risk if you don't need to risk that much, don't. You want to give it some room. So maybe not exactly at the R8. I would at least give this baby 5 or 6 points. All righty. And then your overall TP is down here at this S1. Now we need to perfect our entry because we didn't get that entry. So right now, price is doing what? Buying up, buying. We are going to wait until we get a nice candle here to get into this sell, telling us that we are now no longer pushing up, coming forward. We're gonna get into this sell. So right now we're at our 1 minute time frame. Our 1 minute time frame is still, it's near this, it's bouncing around here. Do you guys see our EMAs? 200 EMA, 800 EMA. Price is trying to break below or above. It hasn't done that yet, but look, started at this S0, pulled back down, it hit this R8, came back down near this S1 level, and now see what it's going to do. Is it going to push above this area and come to this R8 level so we can get back into this sell, get a better entry point where we should have entered the market? You know what I'm saying? We still have buying momentum on our RSI. Alrighty. So now let's see here. I'm going to get into a trade. Our Renko is telling us that we have some buying momentum. Our fifth on the 3 minute, of course, our 15 minute is telling us we're oversold. So we should be looking for sells. So if you guys were in this trade and your momentum trading, are you going to get in with this buy? Let's see. Just with the market. Let's get into a little buy. Are we going to just get in with this buy until it tells us that, price is selling? Or are we going to just wait and wait for that sell? Look, it did exactly. It's oversold, touch this level here. See, would you get in? Wait till it, and wait till it tells you that you're getting that selling confirmation, or do you wait for the sell confirmation and get in for the sell? Let's see how this baby plays out. I'm not going to be risking all of that for this hypothesis. We're going to just try, see, we're staying with the trend. Renko chart still giving us some green candles here. I am waiting for that sell, but right now the market seems to still be buying. Our 1 minute's telling us that we're selling, so we'll see. If the market comes below this area, then of course I'm out, but we'll stick with our buy until it tells us that we're going to sell. But this is the area that we're looking for to get in. Looking in to get for. So let's see, what is the market doing? The market doing. What time it is? 9:05. Okay, guys, I'm not going to keep you guys too long. Let's go ahead. Let's just see how this plays out. I want us to get into this sell. I want to see if it's going to come up here to 58, 95, 75, kind of that area, and sell back down. Looking like this is a really, how is this candle opening? Green candle. Let's see what our 5 minute is telling us. 3 minutes still kind of buying. Oh, all right. Our 5 minutes still giving us some buying momentum. So let's see here. If we did a fib from this low to this high, I'm sorry, from this high to this low, it's touching this 58, which is also our 200 EMA. I think it's going to come back up here to this 61.8. Just trying to buy. We have some buying momentum still. So you can get in counter trend trades if you realize that it's a counter trend trade, and where you're looking to take that counter trend trade to, what's the market telling you, just so that we're in something. Remember, this is a buy. This is an area that we're looking to get back in, this 50, 61, 8 kind of zone here. We're just in one micro, so risking 36 points. Really don't even want to risk that much. If it comes below this area, then I'm like, okay, let me get back in for my sell because I'm looking for sells anyways. The market was just buying, and so I want to be on the side of the market until we get that selling confirmation, which we have our Ringo charts giving us buying momentum. So that's why I'm like, okay, let's just stay in here for this buy until we get that confirmation. Alrighty, you guys, let me know, what is your plans for today? If you are trading MES, what are your plans? Are you going to stick in the buy? Are you checking your heat map to see, okay, we're getting closer, what's going on? Are you waiting for that pullback? We already had that news. I think, when Jerome Powell coming on at 9:45? 8:40. Okay, whew, good. He already spoke. Awesome. We're having our buying momentum here, still buying, still pushing forward, onward. Whoa. That baby's moving. All right. Because we can move our trade into profit, just a couple points. This was just... Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Okay. All right, guys. Does anyone have any questions? I know I want everyone to be focused for the New York Open. Oh, it's 9:10. We can back test for about 10 minutes. And then I'll let you guys go. I'm going to put in a pending order so I don't miss it down here for the sell. And then once it commits to that sell, or, I'm going to go ahead and put, you guys know I like pending orders, another trade, another position in for that buy if it continues to make higher highs. I don't care about, that was my analysis. That's how I go over the market. That's what I'm looking for. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I want to be on the right side of the market. I don't care about being right. Just showing you guys what I'm looking at and how I would take certain trades with the information that I have. Alrighty, so what did it do? Came up here to the 61.8. It's still buying though, so we want to be careful. Because we're still in a buying, trend here. We still have this cross, prices still, and we have, I don't want to get knocked out prematurely. It's going to keep going. So now I'm just risking. I was putting my trade into profit, but I realized what time it is, and I don't want to get knocked out prematurely. So it looks like it might hit this. Let's see. I want to move this out the way. Sorry, guys. See if we can get something up here. I didn't want it. I had my stop loss right here at the 50.61.8, but that was also where that 10 EMA is. And I know that sometimes price likes to just touch these EMAs just to continue, moving further. So that's why I said I was just going to move my stop out. But again, this would have been, let's see what this 5-minute is telling us. That might be my entry. I might need to get in this trade. So close. But see, when I have it, my wrinkles still giving me that buying momentum. That's when I'm just like, okay, we still have some volume to the upside here. Let me just be patient. But of course, if it's selling, I want to be out. If it breaks this high and makes higher highs, I want to put on, get in with some more size there. So, price is still just moving higher. Let's see, top step levels. Okay. We have a level up here at 59.02. I think we're currently on a level right here. Alrighty. Okay, it's still pushing up. We're getting some buying momentum. So we're just going to hold on to this trade to the upside. Go into profit. I'm going to move my stop into profit. I'm going to see if it's going to come up here to 58.95, this kind of zone, 58.96, this level, before it commits to that sell. So I'm going to move my stop into profit around 58.91. Price goes kind of below this wick here. I'll be out. This is a really, to me, I'm looking for sells. So being in this buy, a little nerve-wracking for me. Alrighty, but we're just going to go with the momentum of the market. Oversold. Let's see if it's pushing. If it's going to start pushing up. We have our, of course, this is on the 30-second, excuse me. Five-minute as well. If it goes below this 5-minute candle, I'll be in for that sell at 58.55. It's probably going to wick me out. Couple dollars. So I just went in with 1 micro. Testing out the waters.
Order filled.
All right, let me get in. All right, look.
Order filled.
And now we're getting this selling momentum from, it just went back down, from our Rinko. All righty. So let me go ahead and place my stop loss, risking $52 here, just above this high. And now my take profit is going to be 20 points. So let's look here. Look at this. Oh. Did exactly what we said it was going to do. Came back up to that point. This is the 1-minute time frame. I'm taking my take profit from there. I'm going to use the 5-minute, which is also, I believe it's still the 15-minute time frame. So just around here. So 58.70. I'm going to look to take my trade to, as far as take profit. once I get some good momentum to the downside and some nice candles, selling candles, then I'll add to this trade. So I'll add 3 more. What's I'm at 1. I need to be in with 5. Okay. According to mine. So once it hits that price point, boom. If it continues to buy, hits my stop loss at 5,900, I'm out $50. As you can see, our wrinkle now turned green. So this is just, it's the time frame. It's 9:15. It's the area of the market that we're in as well. But it is what it is. No biggie. Make it up. If it hits that stop loss, either get back into, if it hits my stop loss here, then that means that price is still making higher highs. And now I have new price targets. Now I'm looking to take price up to 59.28. So we just got to see what the market decides to do, and that will tell us what we need to do. Okay, so what were we doing? What were we doing? All right. We kind of did back testing. I showed you guys how to use the replay bar. We didn't really use it during the call or during our session. I'll show you guys. We kind of go over it as well, but I just wanted to look at Dow and gold. So let's see here. Same thing. Sweetie, you need to be on the 15-minute. Alrighty, cool. Alrighty, so same thing. Looks like the Dow is gonna buy. Came up here to this R8. This is a 15-minute. It's oversold. Came down here. Now the Dow uses the S0 and the R8. Back tested that, it goes to those extreme levels, sometimes even below, frequently. So we'll see what it's doing. Looks like it's selling a little bit still. So we'll see how US 30 reacts to this zone here. Let's see if it's going to do what we're expecting the SPX to do. I'm going to look at the lower time frames, or if it's going to use this level and bounce back up. So look at your levels. This is what our 15-minute is telling us. It looks like our 5-minute is telling us that it's hit this R8. Price was unable to, buyers were unable to take it higher. It looks like it's shooting down to this 41,797 level. Let's see here. I was able to get in. That would be 150 points. I would only be risking 50 points, say 55. It's top of this level here, because we may get a bounce once price reaches 41,920. Come on. So I want to make sure. All right. We had a pivot level shift, and now, as you can see, it reshifted. So that means we had a break of structure. Price was moving lower. That made our pivot level shift on the 5-minute for YM. And then what did it do? Green candle came back up. It said, never mind. It went back to how it originally was. But let me tell you, when those pivot level shifts, even though they shift back, still take note, because that means something's going on. That means that the sellers are really trying to push it lower, and they're gathering themselves and getting it right on together so that they could do something like that. And we see that, let's move all this stuff out the way. And we see that ES is attempting to do the same. Now let's look at our friend over here, gold. Alrighty, so gold is over here at the R8. Looks like gold is about to start selling as well. But we'll have to see. Let's go to the 5-minute, because gold has really, I've been so scared to sell gold. That baby has been on a roll. But it's been coming down. It has been coming down. It was at on April 22nd, it was at 3506, down 500 points. Oh no, I'm sorry. We're at 32. So not that. A couple hundred points. 300. Alrighty. So this is the 1 hour with gold. Let's go ahead. It's by its P4. Looks like it's going to push down a little bit. But we've had all these nice green candles. Looks like gold may push above that level. Looks like gold has hit this S0 kind of level. Let's look at our TP right over here. Oh, 30-minute dang. Oh. Here we go. Alrighty, so again, our 15-minute, it's hit this S0, pulled back, bought all the way up here to this R8. Gold traders, these pivotal zones, gold loves them. Gold loves pivotal zones. You guys can follow them and you will be very happy when it's acting right. It really loves structure. So if you would have gotten that's what I'm telling y'all. So put your alerts near these S0s and these R8 levels so you can hop on the train and not have to, I was going to say hop on the train, not miss the bus. You hop on the train, not miss it. Okay. Y'all get it. Alrighty, so that was 80 points. Amazing. Now we're waiting for price to make a lower low. It's still buying to see if it's going to pull back to this P4 level. Low to high, our P4 level is also our 50, 61.8 zone. All right, I really want to see price kind of break below this kind of level here. Give it 15 points, coming down to 31.50, 54, kind of that level. So still buying. What do? We bring it down to the smaller time frame to see where can we get in. All right, when price breaks below 31.98, that's going to be a good, let's see, how many points do I have? 31.98, 32.08. Okay. All right, so that's what I look for. Just did that really fast there. But if I'm looking for some trades here, just using a strategy, using my indicators, that's what I would be looking for before I get into these trades. And these are the points that I'll be looking to take the market to. Look at our babies just listening. Look at them. I'm so proud of you guys. And I'm talking about these daggone assets here. Going into profit, heading down to our zones. Like we said, once it hit this support level, 41,920, kind of this area, we were expecting a bounce. That was support in the past. So our baby is still listening. Came back down to this area. We were expecting that. Where can we expect it to pull back to? Because we have this little pullback here. It's on the 5-minute time frame. Looks like it could have the potential to come all the way here to the R7. Our pivot levels are still shifting. I would say put your fib. See if price is going to come back here to this 50, 61.8 level. If you are in profit, you take your profits because it is about to be the New York Open. And even though it could shoot down, rather you just get out in profit and get back in than to just have your money just sitting there, knowing that there could be a potential pullback and you could have a re-entry. Because look at where the market could pull back to. It looks like it could pull back to 49,980 if it decides to do so. If we got in this trade, it was 49.46. So get out, get in profit, follow the market if you want to get into a counter trend trade for that buy, and then get back in at a better price. Okay. Alrighty, guys. So you guys use the replay tool. All right, we have all of our trades set up: gold, US 30, SPX. SPX was in profit. Gold hasn't made its hasn't confirmed that it's selling right now. Still having the little buying momentum with our buying candle. So once we break that structure, we'll be good to go. ES, a little bit in profit here. Couple points, still figuring out what it wants to do. We're waiting for basically price to break below this level. Take some of my risk, take a little risk. Let me minimize my risk, excuse me. Okay, it is about to be the New York Open. It's 9:28. We're having selling momentum here. This candle. So we'll see. All righty. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? All right. I hit my replay bar. I'm going to select the date. Let's start at Monday. Let's start at what? 6 a.m. Okay. Select it. It's going to start from right here. Let's see. All right. This is the 15-minute time frame. This is the 5-minute time frame starting from Monday at 6 a.m. Let's play this and see how price reacts to our pivotal zones, how it reacts to our RSI, and how we can see like, okay, I can see what it did there. Okay, I would have been out. All right, let's just play this for a couple minutes while the market plays out. Y'all let me know. Keep our trades. And let me know in the chat if there's something that we need to stop this for. Oh, let's speed this baby on up. Okay, so now price is coming over here to this R8. We're oversold. We can see on the 5-minute, same thing. Boom, we got this huge selling candle. Let's speed this thing on up. All right, we're expecting it to sell down. So we would take our fib. We had this huge engulfing candle here. Let's see if price comes back down here to this S0, or what does it do? All right, 5-minute came back here to this S0. Now it's shooting back up. Now it's at this R8. Look at what the 15-minute is doing. It's just still at this R8 kind of level, just shooting around. All right, it made a higher high. Still at the R8 on the 5-minute. Remember, this is when we were doing all that walkie stuff that we were like, okay, is it going to break? Is it going to break? What's going on? You see the candle, the pivot level shifts. You see the 5-minute kind of gave a lot more insight into what was going on. And it's just really using those pivot levels. It's at this S0 now. We got a pivotal level shift. That's when we had that break. We had that pivot level shift. Now our S0 is down here. You see how it just keeps shifting around a little bit? With our 15-minute, it made that little break to the upside. Oh, gotta keep shifting this thing. All right, now we're at Tuesday, 1 p.m. Okay, I'm sorry. This is where we're about to consolidate. Price came over here to this level. We had that news. It's at the R8. We had this huge breakdown here. Price tried to, bring price lower. It didn't. All right, let's just pause this. Okay. So we were just going through so that you guys can see what happens when those pivot level shifts on the lower time frames and how it looks on the higher time frames. So we saw that there was a pivot level shift on the 5-minute giving us, big flushes, and how it looked on the 15-minute. Keeping in mind of the major structure on the higher time frame while watching what's going on, what that price movement is doing on the lower time frames. And I love that, because sometimes you go back and you don't know if there was a pivot level shift, but when your replay bar, you can definitely see where the pivots were at that time. Okay. So what are we going to expect if we kept going? That price was going to do what? Come below this support level, this S0. We're seeing that it's going to push. It's our 15-minute is oversold, pushing down. That's a good indication that it's going to break. And it did. Remember, this is where we had that break of structure. It was right around here. And we see those pivot level shifts. But the back testing will definitely help you guys with understanding what happens when you have those pivot level shifts and how to spot them. Because when you have those shifts, your RSI is going to be giving you a clue too. So we'll continue to, go through back testing. We did do, you could use the replay bar if that works for you, or you could just do what we did earlier and just back test as far as looking at what happened, why it happened, how it responded to this, what was going on with this indicator, what price it was at, all that good stuff. It just gives you some insight because remember, the market is just going to keep repeating the same patterns. It's going to keep giving us the same information. It's a little different, but it's still like, the same pattern. How the market, what it does when it reaches the S0 on the 15-minute, if it's going to reverse, it's going to make that same kind of pattern. Pull back, give us a spring or a fake out before we see candles to the upside and we get that, engulfing green candle. It goes, then we're going to see a shift across in our 1020 EMA. So it looks different every time, but fundamentally it's the same thing. So looking at and back testing just helps your mind to get to practice reading those patterns. So very important. Alrighty, guys, I've had you guys for an hour and a half. I do apologize. I hope this was helpful. I hope we are all set up. Oh, dang. Just almost hit it too. Hope we are all set up for success. It's Thursday. Like I said, I've been having a lot going on lately, but I am going to get back next week to drop in charts, getting us all on the same page, getting us more active in the group. and making sure that by the end of this semester, by the end of this year, everyone has been taking, at least 2 or 3 payouts, that they're understanding the strategy, that they have their trading plan. We've been doing this for a while. We've had to retweak it. It always happens, but it's all good. We're still here. We're still moving forward. And that's just how this industry works. Much success to everyone. I want you guys all to be profitable, and I will see you all again on Wednesday next week. Happy trading. Whoa.